Hello out there, Spectrum fans. Daytime bonus stream. Monday again. Comes around quick, doesn't it? Shame about yesterday. I really wanted to come online. I was looking forward to it, but you know, it's no good streaming when you're in even just a little bit of pain. I'll just come across like a complete idiot probably if I did that. Still sticking with the C64 soundtracks right now. I tried to get some next ones. There's some okay ones out there, but controversially I still prefer the Commodore 64 sounds at the moment. But great news is, let's get rid of the music. The great news is I finally figured out what I was doing wrong for the last two videos. Hence the reason that I wanted to come online and show people who were watching my channel how I fixed it, because you know they may need to it helps some people to follow on with an exact example. Let's try and make this text bigger, see if I can live with it at that size. Yeah, so I'll get a very quick rundown of what we're going to see. This is what we should have seen 2 videos ago, sort of 6 hours of channel time ago. And we've got all 3 of them there. Look. And of course, if I want to add another 2, I could just should be able to just whack them in there. Interesting. Still only 3. Hey, look at that. You can see the sprite getting partially drawn. Interesting. Well, anyway, let's not worry about that just yet. Let's go back to just having 3. With that being said, I don't know why it was doing that, because this loop should just loop through however many enemies are in that list. But let's have a look at the draw routine now. In fact, let's do it on the player because it's slightly more simple. So everything's the same how I had it before, except if you remember I had player start here. I've got rid of it for now, although I later found the way I was doing it was absolutely fine. But I've now got Initialized Sprites, which just initializes all of the sprites into a slot. There's only 3 sprites so far, if I remember right. Yeah, there they are. So 2 of them are my ship, and then this one's the enemy. Yeah, so Init Sprites is very similar to how we had it per object before, but now we're doing it globally at the start of the game. And as I say, this is exactly the same. So what you actually have to do is you select the first slot, you select 303B, which is the signal to say that you're choosing slots, and you output it. Or that's the port, sorry. So we're outputting to that port the number 0, and then there could probably be a space there to make it a bit clearer. I've then loaded the sprite data pointer, the very first one, into HL. Oh, I've done that twice. Look. Sprite count. Now don't be confused with the enemy count, which we only saw 3 enemies. That's something completely separate. This is how many sprites are in your sprite sheet, which we just saw was 3. and the loop begins. We push BC obviously to save this count so that we can conveniently use DJ and Z to loop. Other than that, we've just literally loaded BC with that port number, and this will just increment HL, decrement B, C, and output for us over and over again. So it's moving that sprite data byte by byte into the graphics hardware memory, and then it just loops back until it's finished, which is obviously 3 sprites later. This outputs 256 times. Good afternoon, Specky Nut. Glad to have you with me. I noticed your follow last night. Thank you very much. I was just saying sorry about not streaming. I was really looking forward to coming and streaming yesterday. I had my ups and downs with things, like when I'm working, get back, I feel a bit too tired. So it's looking good now though. So this initializes my sprite sheet, so I never have to do that again. Ah, hi, Specky Nut. Are you Adrian? Awesome, awesome. Yeah, people like yourself, little nuggets of help have got me along this. Otherwise, I would have still been like, I don't know what I would have been doing without all the help I've had. I would have still been like struggling, even probably getting the development environment set up, let alone coding it. So obviously, I've shown how easy it is to initialize a sprite sheet there, and actually, I had that right the whole time anyway. The bit I had wrong is here, but I'll work through logically to show anyone who's watching this for the first time. Again, we're choosing the slot. Now it happens that the player is slot 0, but this is a different kind of slot. This is a slot for moving the attributes, so this has nothing to do with the sprites, and that's where I was going wrong. I was thinking this number had to relate, and I did in my head. I was always thinking, how can that work? Because you can only have 64 sprites, so obviously you might want like 100 all of the same sprite. But yeah, so we've outputted to the same port but for a different kind of slot, and we're still at slot 0 for the player. We then have to push to this port 4 different attributes. You only have to push 3 actually, but because I've selected a 1 here, it means I'm putting an extra attribute, or there could be another one as well. I forget exactly what that does. It's to do with mirroring or zooming. I can't quite remember. Give me 1 second. Sorry about that. Neighbours were being a bit loud outside. Close the window. Just reading your messages. That's brilliant news. I love people just starting out coding because I can normally help you. It is. There's absolutely nothing. You're right there. Although I've recently found a Discord which is very helpful for the Spec Next, and also there are some users around on YouTube and Twitch who are very helpful. They'll pop in and help you. So there is definitely a little bit of help out there, but it is hard to come by, I must admit. Like for example, the original ZX Spectrum, you know, there's quite a lot online already, but even that is quite sparse compared to something, say, like C# or Java. You know, that has an abundance of help. So, yeah. So anyway, we've chose this port after selecting the slot again, and now you have to do it in a specific order. Attribute 0 is your X. Now I'm going to simplify this because X and Y are actually more than one whole byte, and it comes into like either one of these attributes. I think it's this one. I've been ignoring that right now. I do need to get on Facebook. Yeah, I've noticed it's like chalk and cheese, isn't it? Absolutely different. I'm being told this is perhaps a little bit more like a C64 because they use the 4-bit sprites anyway on there. But I've never done that either yet. The good thing is though that the keyboard code worked, and I'm sure loads of the other code I've already written will work. So very simplified version of this is that this is your X position and this is your Y. Now there is a slight complication, but we can ignore it for now, and that's what I'm doing. Attribute 2. Now I put this on the screen somewhere. I think it's up here. Yeah. This is what attribute 2 is. I can't quite remember what the P stands for actually, or any of them. You see the X and the Y, that's the most significant bit for them. We can ignore them right now. We don't need to worry about them just yet. That's the palette, which we're going to be 0. Oh, and we're going to use the same palette throughout the game. So we can just use 0. Again, we'll use 0 for them. I can't remember what they are, but we're going to use 0 for them as well. So that attribute is just 0. And oh, one of them must be the flip, because I have got a calculation here. Oh, M means mirror. I was calling it flip. They call it mirror. So that's your mirror bits. And that's the only reason that I mean, I could simplify this and not have it be able to mirror, and I could just say load A 0 out C A. But of course, then that gives me no way to flip it ever. I'm not quite sure what they are yet as well. Let's not worry about them. This is the bugger that caught me out for the last several hours. V is visibility, and I was always setting that to 1. E is what I call extra. It's like the extended area, which means if you put a 1 in that one, you have to call at least one of them. In fact, I think that's the last one, just that. So by putting 1 there, it means you must provide that. But if you put a 0 there, you must not. And then here's the bugger. N 0 to 5. Pattern ID. That's the cookie that we were ignoring. And for some annoying reason, I was just chose to ignore it. But for example, if I change that to a 3, so remember we're only dealing with the last 6 bits, so that amounts to 3 rather than 2, and we should see that the player is now the face. Similarly, I mean attribute 3 here in the enemies, let's put them to 0, which is where we had it before. So what we should see is a role reversal here. And there we go. He's there. Now let me explain just slightly about what I've learned about the screen size. But you'll notice I can move all the way to the left, all the way off into the gutter, which is great. But here, I'm stuck. Oh look, I've got a funny flip effect going on there as well. That's quite cool. I forgot I did that. Yeah, we can't move all the way over to the edge, let alone into the gutter on the right. And the reason is, the specky screen size was 32 cells width, which amounts to 256. And it started from 0. But this one, it overlaps the screen by 32 pixels at each side. So this position here is actually 32. And then obviously all the way to here would be 0. It seems to be only 16. But I've probably set that somewhere in my movement code or something, stopping and moving. But you have, if you want to move him all the way to the right, you've actually got to get 256 plus 32, which is bigger than 1 byte. And that's where this one comes into play. I guess it's that, the most significant bit for X, which makes it very awkward for me. I've got to admit, I don't really have a plan of how to deal with that, because I'd have to go into here and change this to a 1 only when he's over that side of the screen. So I'm going to forget about that and just pretend the screen size is what it is. Just reading your mess. Yeah, there definitely is a way of dealing with that. Oh yeah, no, I have just flipped him. Yeah, I haven't used multiple sprites. Yeah, I will look it up about using that, and I'm sure it's not that bad. But right now, it doesn't need to be worried about, because we can sort of just play the game. It's going to be hard enough for me to, you know, just to do like say bullets and collision. Yeah, it's getting there, isn't it? But we can certainly play the game like it is now and try loads of stuff out without worrying about this most significant bit. At least we know what the problem is. So let's switch him back to how he should be. So today, what I'm going to be doing, and I'm actually going to start him on 1 because that's the default instead of 0. I've done it the wrong way around. It's attribute. Oh God. Yeah, attribute 3. Yeah, today's focus is going to be coming up with a way of, instead of hard coding that number in, having a variable. But unfortunately, it's not so easy as to say, you know, sprite pattern 1, because you've got this visibility and you've got the extension byte, bit. Well, I keep using the word byte when I should say bit. But that's what I'm going to try and do. I might have to shrink the. It's getting a bit on my nerves being that size. I hope that's readable. If not, let me know. So I'd start out by saying, well, actually, let's not name it anything fancy. We've got attribute 0, attribute 1, attribute 2, etc. I think it's going to make sense to actually call it that. Skiving. Yeah, thanks for checking in, Specky. Really nice to meet you. We'll chat again, I'm sure, some point on YouTube or on here. Hopefully there'll be a lot of progress in tonight's video when I upload. Defo, mate. Yeah, get yourself to work. Nothing more important, especially in this day and age. Nice one. Thanks again for dropping us the follow as well. Means a lot. So of course I can now just do that instead, but that's not really solved anything. But I will make sure it works. Oh. Ooh. Ah. Got it the wrong way around, didn't I? Nice one, Spec Nut. Way. Okie dokie. I mean, if I was a really organised person, I would have drawn some nice sprites before I came on today. I would have drawn a bullet, some more enemies. But I get excited. I figured this one little thing out and thought, right, that's it. I'm coming on and showing it. Now, if you remember back to the days of the Specky 48k attributes, you can add, say, 128, and if you've got 0 there, and you add 128, you're going to have it visible. So to make it invisible, we can just minus 128 from that value. In fact, let's do a constant, and just to make it super clear, we'll put that. So we can just add or remove, add or subtract that from that to make it invisible. The same goes for the extra, or extended, I'm going to call it. Did I put too many? I can't read anymore. There we go. I do apologise, I just had a text come through. It won't be a moment. Right, sorry about that. I just had to reply to someone. I was waiting for text. Yeah, I'm thinking on my feet here, but this actually seems like a very good way of doing it. Because now we can just treat that like a pattern number, and then add or remove that to this value to add these features. Now I wanted to use the extended set on this, and I can't remember why. Let's take a look. T. I'll probably have to load the website and remind myself what T is for. It'll be something to do with the zoom. Oh, it's the zoom. It's the zoom. I remember it. The magnification. And we're not even using it. That would be the other bits. So let me look up what that T is about. I've forgotten already. By the way, I've noticed on YouTube a very big flurry of new subscribers. I can only say thank you for all of those. I don't know who's responsible for that. I guess I got posted by somebody on somewhere. I didn't see it though, but I appreciate it, whoever did that. Nearly found this. T equals 0 if relative sprites are composite, otherwise 1 for unified. Okay, so it's 1 because that's something to do with when you're anchoring sprites. Which again, we can use the same philosophy of just adding and removing, adding or subtracting. I guess it would be 32 this time. Yeah. So I could write 32, but I'm just going to do it in binary. So now, anything, not in this byte, but in attribute 4, we're always pretty much going to want that because I'm not using anchored sprites yet. That would be if you have a sprite that's tiled, you know, because you can only have a 16 cell, a size, a sprite that fills 16 by 16. So if you want a 32 by 32, you'd have to use anchored sprites. But we're using can't remember what they call it, but single sprites. Anyway, the rest of that is zoom. Well, them four there. Can't remember what the bit 0 is on that. Most significant bit for Y. We're not going to get much use for that. That's going to always be 0 for now. Right, so I've got rid of the hard coding. I'm not too keen on the way I do the flip. There's hard coding in here as well. Look, set flip is just like what I said a minute ago, really. So that's 16. No, 8. I guess that's flip X, isn't it? Yeah, so the other one's Y. Wait. Oh yeah. So it's 2 bits. 0, 1. So 2 and 3. I would have done 3. That's X, but Y is that one. I'm going to get rid of, call it mirror as well, because that's what they call it. So this is just flipping X and it's unflipping it, but actually I don't like the way it outs there. I want the out to be done in here. And we don't need to load. We can add. Wait there. What we need is player attribute 2. And if you notice, it's all zeros unless it's flipped. You might have also noticed the flipping wasn't working properly anyway when I was just trying it out a minute ago. When I was getting to the edge, he was flipping around. It was only a practice. I'm going to have to start calling it mirror, not flip. So basically, if you want to mirror it on the X, you add this. And if it's already mirrored, you subtract that. Or you could just make it 0. Because you might find it's best to make it 0 every frame, then add the bits you want on. I think that's probably the best bet actually. But to set, let's change, set flip bit's a horrible name as well. Don't worry about the name though. Let's call it set mirrored. As I say, at the moment I'm leaning towards setting setting it to 0 every frame, and only calling this if I want it to be mirrored. And that looks much nicer and cleaner now. Of course, this does not handle mirroring anymore. I'd need to do still do a comparison here. So it'd be load A with the attribute. Well, no, it wouldn't be. I could do it anywhere I want because I'm using. That's why I'm caching the value there. So anywhere I want. It's not before I call this draw routine. As long as I've set the mirror, then obviously that frame it will be mirrored. I don't think I need them. That's remnants of my horrible mistakes. Yo, dude. Not too much progress made yet, but I've managed to cache all of these. And I think I've come up with a way of manipulating them from wherever I want in the code. You know, I just have to change this somewhere. The border thing on the right, Yeah, I know how to. I do know how to fix that, but I don't know exactly. But I know what the problem is. Oh, oh. Okay, let me. I'll copy your thing into my notepad here. It's hard to read on that little thing. Well, I've got the little chat window. No, no, don't worry, man. It's good. Oh, damn. I tried to post it in there, but it's even worse. I'll read it a sec. Wait, I'll just lean in. Okay. No, me neither, to be honest. That's interesting, though. I would never have dreamt of that stuff. I'd say if you're just learning, not to worry too much about that. I really would. I'd say you'll have more fun doing what I'm going to attempt, which is like doing collision detection and stuff on the screen bits you can see. Yeah, because I mean, if you think about it, you could make a commercial game without knowing that, because you could just block the left side of the screen so that it only gets to the edge. Then you could get to the bit on the right that the maximum 1 byte can take you to, and then you could just draw a UI over the other part. Just draw like a black box there or whatever you wanted. You'd still be able to manage it. Of course, I'm going to learn about that most significant bit. It's not too difficult, really. It's just the fact that it's situated somewhere completely different, and it's part of the other bits that are like the palette and that, so it makes it a bit awkward. Yeah, the mirror as well. I've just noticed is part of the width one. Yeah, it will be useful, of course. And not just that, but it's so horrible to not know something. You know, like when you have to ignore something, and it's almost like witchcraft, and you have to work around it. It's one of the most annoying things about coding. If you can't understand something, and you're just trying to hack in bits around the edges, otherwise. It's very simple, really. I mean, when it goes over 255, so up to 256 and above, you have to use this bit. I mean, it's easy to say it like that, but then to put it into code is another ball game altogether. It certainly does. Certainly does. For many years now, I've been staying up very late coding because I used to never get time to do it. And no one I know is interested in it whatsoever, so I can't sit there and do it. Back when I used to live with people, it was really hard to get it done. But I used to always stay up. And I'd think, oh, I'll stay up till about 3 in the morning, but that would come and I'd be well in depth into it and just carry on through. But yeah, my advice certainly would be to ignore that if you don't understand it immediately. In the revere. Oh, reverse. Awesome. I can remember being like that many years ago as well. But that would be more with my gaming. I'd be well into a game and then I'd have to go to school or something. So I'd wake up at super early o'clock, play like a few hours. But I love it. Keep at it, because you do get these moments like a big waterfall of information you suddenly understand. And that's what I was going to say about ignoring that thing above. Yeah, working for yourself sounds awesome. Nice, sounds like a good life, man. What do you do, if you don't mind me asking, for your business? I'd love to have my own business. I've started a couple and failed every time. One time I lost quite a lot of money. Sports photographer, brilliant. I bet it's quiet at the moment. Yeah, they won't even let you in most of the places. Where are you situated then, roughly? Are you in a place with lots of football clubs around and that, or? Oh, horses. Okay. Cool. That's a good niche. Loads of people love horses, man. I'm not really into them, but my mate, he watches horse racing all the time, loves it. And then, like, obviously, there's loads of women I know who are into horses for other reasons. That's a very good shout. I bet it's cold there, yeah. I get cold down here in south in Torquay, the English Riviera. It's cold right now, actually, but but it's still probably about 9 degrees or something. Yeah, we're in the Bahamas down here. Yeah, that sounds like good fun, man. Yeah, you found a good niche. I've always been into computers, so I am into sport. I used to play a lot of football, but it was never anything that I thought to myself I could do a business of. That's a shame, because if you can find a business you love doing, you're away. I'd done a takeaway business once. That's where I lost all my money, because I'm not into cooking or cleaning, so it was just a stupid idea for a business. Yeah, I mean, luckily on this particular game, I'm fixing the Y position, so I won't ever have to worry about his most significant bit on Y. With that being said, I just realised with the enemies I will, because I want to fade them in from the top of the screen. See, that's brilliant now. When I flip direction, I can just set that attribute 3. Still don't quite know off the top of my head which ones are which yet. But I've decided to name them by the names they're given in the manual, because then I'll just learn them eventually, won't I? So attribute 2 is the mirrored stuff. Attribute 2. So when I do the flip direction, I mean, ideally, you don't want to be setting values. I'm going back on what I said a minute ago. I said I'm going to set it to 0 every frame, and then make it mirrored if I want to. But actually, I do love machine coding. That's going to help you a lot, being good at basic. I don't know any basic, but I know like how coding languages work. I've used loads of different languages, just never basic. Maybe I've done like a few hours in BASIC when I was young. Yeah, well, if you have any questions, fire away, because especially the basic stuff, I've just gone through that myself, so I'd probably be quite a good dude to help you. Because it wasn't long ago, about I think it was 1 month before I started the channel, so I'd say it's about 3 months ago. I didn't even know what a register was. You know, I knew nothing. Okay. Variables. Variables are easy to do in machine language. It's stuff like looping that's hard, and arrays. But even arrays aren't that hard once you figure out how to use the IX register and to like this example here. I have an array of enemies, so I'll use IX to point at the first one, and then it's just a case of moving by that amount of bytes to the next one. But that's much more harder than it would be in like a language like BASIC, where you'd be able to just do like something like enemies 2 dot position equals 10, you know. But you can't do that here. No, it really is hard to find. It is. But that's why I started the channel, mate. If I'm going to be truthful, I was working and working and working, trying to figure the same stuff out as you are describing there. And there was a couple of forums where they were helpful, but I still had to wait a long time for answers. Sometimes I wouldn't get the answer I want, and then I'd have to refine my question and wait again. You know, and I thought to myself, blimey, there's not a massive amount of help out there. Maybe a channel would. And obviously on YouTube there are some. There's like maybe 3 or 4 decent providers or creators or whatever. But they were a little bit too advanced for me at the time. So same reason, like I thought, let's try and bridge that gap. Hasn't quite gone as smooth as I thought, but you know, it never does with this sort of thing, does it? Definitely, Specky. Definitely. I was copying lots of examples, which is also another good way of learning, you know, and then hacking away at them. But I did find, I mean, I do have knowledge of how to make games in other languages, which definitely helps me. But I found that just starting with an empty page and then wait until I run into a problem with my own code was the best way of learning. Like, it was all well and good seeing how other people do it, but then I was forced to like copy them, if you know what I mean. But every time I was making my own stuff, I read 2 books on the spectrum, and after that, that helped me a great deal, to be honest. The first one was by Jonathan Caldwell, and the other one was a very long time ago book from the 80s. Yeah, Jonathan's book is brilliant because it is all examples. Yeah, and then Tang has it's only the first half of Tang's book I read, but the analogy there with the how the accumulator worked. Yeah, honestly, I still remember it. Like, I can never forget that analogy. I'd already learnt what he was describing, and I was reading it at first thinking, yeah, I've learnt all this. Why are you filling up this with 500 pages, you know, or whatever it is? But then I realised he's just got it really detailed, his explanation. And it almost all links up with that sort of visual image of a dude with like an elf with all them feet. Yeah, brilliant. Oh, I'm not sure I've seen Tony Baker. Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, I must admit, when I see Basic, I just skip the entire page. I've got a bad habit of that. Like I do it in the Spectrum manual as well. In the new one, there's the next manual. I'm trying to figure out something. I see some basic. I'm like, oh, next page. And I miss crucial information because of that. You know? With that said, I've managed to skim read through things, and I've got this far, so it can't be that bad. Do you know what I mean? Oh, I'm in the wrong one. I was wondering why I couldn't figure out what I was doing. Yeah, so I just want to find a way of mirroring it, the best way, I should say. The problem I'm having is this is also going to affect the palette and whatever that is. I know what that is. But Darren Sloan. I've heard the name. I think I've probably seen his videos. Is he the one that has the thumbnail of like the dude in the gold suit? Have you seen that one? Like the video thumbnail for his most popular video? I think I've seen his. But you see me, and I hate saying this because I've got a video channel. So I hate to discourage people, but I learn more from reading than I do watching. That's not Daryl, he's Irish. Okay. I'm loading it up now to have a look, see if I've seen it. No problem, my dude.
What do you believe about life?
Oh, I think that's him. He's Irish. Although he's going on about the universe. I think I found the wrong Daryl Sloan. Right, let's get back to work. I'll find him later. That was him, yeah. I'll find him. I've definitely seen the name before. What a cool dude, yeah. He's got a YouTube that doesn't, like, at first glance, doesn't even mention coding, and then he just happens to know how to code an assembly language for the specky. What an awesome channel. I'm kind of thinking, just go off the direction. I mean, listen, I don't even need to flip the player. It's a symmetrical sprite. But I will need to do it to the enemies. But I've got set mirrored here, it just adds it. So I just need to call that the time it wants to be mirrored. No, you're not distracting me at all, man. Mirroring is slightly different to rotate. If I rotate it, it'll be at a 90-degree angle. But if I rotated it twice, and it'd be upside down, but not flipped. I already did the flip already, but I'm just trying to think of a like more what's the word? More generic way of doing it, so that I can do it on every sprite the same. If that makes sense. We're nearly done with. It's nearly done here. It just needs like one more line, because this will set it to be mirrored. That's not quite true, I don't think, SpecNut. You can flip up, down, or left, right, and you can rotate to clockwise or anti-clockwise. but there's two different things. Let me try and visualize. What's the best way of visualizing that? Well, anything really. If you picture any picture, yeah. Think about your picture of a horse, for example. Just hold it in your hand in front of you, and if you rotate it, you rotate it. But if you flip it, it's impossible to do in real life. You know, it'd be like turning it around and seeing through it. See, I can always be a little help with some nuggets of info. That's what I'm here for. Ship I could rotate. I've already done that. Let's just do it just to show you what it is. That would be mirror. Forget where rotation is. Damn it, I forgot where the rotation one is. Mirror is here, look, see where I've highlighted? So it's in sprite attribute 2. These would be the palette. Remember, of course, it goes from right to left. So 1 would be that one being 1. But yeah, this is your X mirror, and that is your Y mirror. So if you have a 1 in there, it's going to be mirrored on the horizontal axis, and then there for the vertical one. The mirror is definitely. I'll tell you what, I can demonstrate it by putting the sprite pattern to be the face, and then what I'll do is I've already got a direction, look, and I've already got a routine that will set it to be mirrored, and I already have a way of saying flip direction, although I don't need that anymore. That was like an AI thing when it gets to the edge of the screen. So move left, I can just do set direction. So let me explain how that one works. It just loads the X position, takes 1 from that value. There it was checking if it got to the end. That's why we couldn't. Remember I said, oh, it's only getting to 16. I no longer want it like that. What I'll do is I'll just compare it to 8, right? And return if it's less than 8. That means you can't move if you get to 8 to the left. If you can, in fact, we don't need anything if you can. So if it gets this far, it means it was more than 8. So we will in fact put A back into the position value so that it is now that value. Also, as soon as you hit the left button, which is going to call this routine, we want to set his direction, which I've made a little routine for. Just does that, sets his current direction variable to be left. So I'll copy that, paste that into the right one, and just change this to add A1. I'll change that to I mean, because I'm only moving 1 per time, I could do 255 when it's equal return, but that won't be very good if he's moving more than 1 pixel at a time, so I'll just put 250 for now. Return NC, so that's more than. So it's the exact same thing, but the opposite. Yeah, I do need the A. It's a weird It's a weird thing. If you put sub, you don't need it. On Pasmo, you certainly do. You might be able to get away with it on SJ. I mean, it's compiled. Seems to be working. But I'm going to put it back in. And the reason being is because some compilers require that. It probably does, you're right. But it does. It's compiler specific, that. Pasmo would fail if you wrote that. So if someone copies my code and they're using Pasmo, they'll have to change it. But weirdly, you can't do it. You have to put sub 1 there. I'll put sub A1. It might work on SJ. Seems to work. But I'm going to leave it back how I had it. I think it's a good program. What do you currently use? Notepad++ or? Yeah, so I've now made him be able to move left or right. It doesn't use that flip thing. We set the direction. So elsewhere, anywhere I want, I could just decide what direction, find what direction I'm in, and set this attribute, or just call this, and it will add it. Now, really, I should check if that bit is already set and not do this again, because otherwise I'm going to mess it up. I'm still leaning towards my idea of making it 0 every frame and then calculating what it should be every frame, but I do want to try and avoid that. CSpec. Yeah, VS Code, you'll find that probably the most help now. I mean, it's only a text editor at the end of the day, but you do have these extensions here, which I would certainly say if you're only going to do next dev, I would just say get the ASM code lens and this macro assembler by Emboric. But yeah, there's several. You can just try them as you like them, find which one you like. It is pretty good, to be honest. It's just convenient in every way. You know, sometimes with text editors, there's like something that annoys you, but this doesn't seem to annoy me. Ah, that sounds good. I'm almost certainly not going to learn Next Basic. I can say that right now. I'd probably rather spend my time writing more modern code if I'm going to do that, if I'm honest, for Windows and other systems. But you never know. You never know. Maybe I'll get heavily into the Next, and then I'll want to just make the best game I can with whatever tools that are available. You know. I know a lot of people do a mixture between basic and I got recommended. I had a nice game that I'd written in assembly, but I couldn't do redefinable keys. And I wrote online, like, you know, how would I do redefinable keys? And someone posted a basic program and just said bolt that onto your code. I saw the Flappy Bird. I saw Flappy Clive or so. Yeah, I mean, it's bound to be quick, isn't it? Yeah, true. It's not really anything to do with the speed that I'm against. It's just learning another language, you know, can't be bothered. because I am, as my like intro states, I'm a jack of all trades coder. So I've learned loads of different languages. It's not that I don't want to jump into another one, but I'd like to get a bit better at one at this stage. You know? I'm spending ages here, but it's really over nothing. It's just trying to think of the best way. I'll just put a to do in here because it needs to check that mirror bit is not set already. Because I can't be bothered to do that right now, basically. So I am going to do it every frame. I'm going to reset it and then set it. Don't know. I kind of wish I'd left that flip direction one now. It does look very good in the little bits I've glimpsed. And also everyone recommends to use it as well now. It's kind of taking the fun away from it in a way though. I've changed it to be that ghost sort of face image because I want to see when I hold left that it actually does flip. Because this game is just a little warm up anyway. I'm very soon going to be making some other games, so really I'm just trying to. I mean, I've already established that I can draw it. Yeah, just messing about. In the day, I'm a funny guy. In the day, I get very unproductive, but in the night, normally I'm more productive. Yeah, you're right though. Let's get rid of it. I can't be bothered. Should be no mirrored. Don't even need it. Really, I don't even need a direction anymore. That's only so you can set the correct sprite. Just get rid of it all. Just keep it simple. See if it runs after I've just hacked it up to pieces. And yeah, it does. Okay. So what I do have is I have an animation of two sprites with thruster sort of. It looks terrible, but it has two versions, you know, one with and without thrusters. So one is the one without. I need to draw a bullet or something really. because I'm super lazy and I don't want to open the art program while I'm streaming, I'm just going to draw it in code here. It takes even longer though, doesn't it? Oh, actually, yeah. Emook recommended. He made a great art program, Emook, but it's a tiny bit hard for me to just export one sprite. But I'm going to try it now though. But he did recommend this online one made by Remy something, and I used it. It was bloody brilliant. I'm just drawing something stupid now. Some sort of cruddy laser egg thing. See, unfortunately, I don't know how to mirror on this sprite engine, sprite creator either. Because I'd love to just draw half the sprite and mirror the other half. There we go, that'll do. Some rubbishy. Some rubbishy egg thing. It's weird. It's the same as the one above. Yo, Emook. How are you, my mate? For some reason, it just exported that same face. I must have been on my clipboard already. Maybe I should show you. So I've got it in there. That it's just a basic. It's the most basic sprite, just really quick. Output. It's outputting. It's outputting the face from the other day though somehow. Wait. Do I have to save? Can I output it now? Dodgy software. I mean, it's bloody great software. I'd be well proud of it, you know. But I just don't know how to use it. That Remy one seemed pretty goddamn good, to be honest, as well. But I'd love to have it on my system rather than. I think I've exported it now. I think. Yeah, that looks different now. It's a shame I had to just draw that red stuff all over it. GitHub for Remy, yeah. I did get to his GitHub actually, but it was late last night and I think I shut the window without even getting. I did find his GitHub. Did you notice, I don't know how much of my video you saw, Mook, but I actually figured out my problem. And my code was actually pretty much bang on. It was just these attributes. I didn't realise attribute 3 contained the pattern you wanted to choose, if you know what I mean. But I think I fully understand it now. So I've spawned 3 enemies here. And they all have the same pattern, but of course different X position and Y. Oh yeah, don't be late, man. Thanks for dropping in, Specky. Hope to see you again soon. I'll probably fire this bullet and then take a little break, come back later with loads of pre-written code that I've had fun writing all day, I hope, but I want to try and do the bullet live. Let's make sure this sprite count needs to be changed. Okay, sprites in there. So for example, let's just turn the player into a bullet for a second. Attribute 3 just needs to be 4. Whoops. And there we go. Super duper. That's a good shout. What do you do? What do you do in the next for sprites where you wanted it to be only 8x8? Do you just center an 8x8 sprite into a 16x16 slot? Because you know, my bullet probably only really wants to be about 5 pixels in height and less in width. Top left. Okay. Thanks. Yeah, it depends how I write my code, I guess. Because I like to have the origin in the center on everything. But I've adapted my way to be top left now. But I could maybe switch back to the center actually. Now I'm on the next. Because we've got multiply as well. Not that that is needed for that, but the whole way of thinking is a little bit more modern now. Sprites are handled from the top left, yeah, but I could obviously add an offset to make it centered half the width. But yeah, I see what you mean. It just depends however I actually write the code around it, doesn't it? But my question, I guess, was if you only want a sprite to be, say, 4x4, the actual visible pixels, you just have to waste the whole 16x16, yeah, and handle it in whatever way you want to. That's probably the question I was asking, I guess. I'm just going to finish rolling this Siggy, and then I've got a feeling like I might be able to bash a few bits of decent code out now. Nice, let's do that then. Let's get him back to being the player. I'd put it 0, it's more simple. So to animate a player, you just have to change this over and over again. It's that simple. I don't need to do anything else because my code just reads that. I'll make a bullet class. It's going to have an array of bullets. They'll be dead by default. X, Y. Not quite sure what we need because I used to have the width here, but I don't really think I need width. So everything's 16. What do we have in the enemy? Let me remind myself. Slot ID. And that's its attribute slot. That's not its visible sprite slot. And that's essential because you can't have them sharing with anything. The bullets are good. That's a bit weird the way I've done that. I need to assign that. No, it's not too bad. I'm the coder. I can code it. You know, as long as I know not to do that, then it's fine, isn't it? I have to start there basically. I will have to come up with a way of dynamically assigning them an attribute slot eventually, because sometimes you might have more enemies in a level. It seems odd to have to initialize. Let's say level 5 has 10 on screen at once, so I'd need to have 10 here. Level 1 might only have 5. I suppose I could still initialize all 10. Of course, I can use an offset as well. Like I could add 128 to that number. Can I? Hang on a sec. What? Here's where I launch cspect. Can you read that? Damn, it's probably well horrible to read, but there's the options. Is it one of them that I need to put to launch? You can see that, nice. I was going to roll this smoke anyway. That would be great though, for my stream more than anything, so that it doesn't annoy other people. Oh, you got an example there. Awesome, man. Okay, so oh really? But doesn't that move the? Oh, I suppose it doesn't even need to be on the SD card then. Nice, mate. So it would be main.next, wouldn't it? Because I'm going to always call it main.next, so I don't need to change this. Let's try that. That won't kill us. Ah. Given files format is not supported. Ah, so I like how that error message came up on my stream. Oh, whoa. Wait. Wait. I've got to put it back now just to make sure that that was. Well. Thanks, mate. I only just read the last bit of what you said. You're such a clever dude, man. Oh, it still don't work though, unfortunately. What else did you have? See, that should take care of window 3, the remember bit. Basic keys. It's TV to scan lines. Yeah, but I'll just try it exactly how you've got it, just in case. To be honest, I'm not, I'm not achieving much in the day anyway. I'm so slow and relaxed. But yeah, of course, as long as it works. That's the main thing with the way I'm doing it. That was, if I could do it the way you just showed me, it would be a lifesaver for me. I hate doing all this bit here. Brilliant. I think because my sprite looks so bad with the bullet, and because you're here, why not use your art program and take advantage? If there's something ridiculously stupid I'm doing, you might be pointing it out. You might be able to point it out. Okay, will do, Mook. Nice. Man, you're a star. Yeah, that's looking good. I'll just try your way since we've done that. Can't see that doing it, but nah, not yet. But yeah, I'll just draw a bullet. I like it now, just using it one by one. I didn't realise you could do that. It's much easier now. Because I keep thinking about the sprite sheet here. But that's kind of irrelevant for me, unless I'm making a tiled map. I don't need that, I just want to paste it in. I'm terrible at art, unfortunately. And I haven't even got a mouse that can stay still. A mouse map. Ah, just randomly chucking stuff in there. Oh, I see. That makes good sense. Now I understand. Good shout. Autoexec.bas. Okay, I'll definitely look into that. That's something I need to learn. You know when I say, I hope it might hold me back because I don't know basic. It's stuff like that that I was referring to as well. I see people have little things like that, and also I got halfway through saying earlier, someone wrote a redefining keys routine in basic. I'd love to know how to bolt that into my assembly code. Yeah, I bet it is, isn't it? It's just like, I don't know. Why am I being so stupid about it and not using it? Guess I'm going to learn the hard way. I'm doing that purposely so that I can use one shade less darkness. It's like any program this though, the more you use it, the better you get at it. Like I say, I'm a terrible artist, you know, especially when I'm live on stream. So do you write the line numbers in even when you're using Notepad, yeah? Okay. Simple as that, isn't it? I bet I was just missing the line numbers. That's what was confusing me, I think, when I was doing it. Just Ted. How would you use that in assembly, though? Like, a bit irrelevant from what you were just saying, but say you had a basic script and you wanted to call it from here, you know, to redefine the keys, for example. You probably have to make another file, don't you? I don't know. I'll figure it out, though. It's just an idea I'm sort of playing with. I don't want pink, do I? That's kind of like a bullet now, isn't it? Yeah, I thought that Mook, but I've had someone tell me, and they know like everything about the Specky. And they were saying you can just bolt in a basic program into my code and call it from assembly, and then it just loads up a screen that's already pre-written for me, lets them define the keys. It was bloody weird. I couldn't get my head around it in the end, but I didn't spend too long. But I know it is possible. Well, according to that, it's possible. But yeah, not worth worrying about. It's too advanced at the moment. What I'm going to do is just have like 4 different key profiles, and you can press 1 for 1. Ah, hello Bendu. Okay, it sounds simple, like anything else in this once you know how to do it, innit? Really? Is it, yeah? Next is completely different, yeah. I was talking about 48k, by the way, when I said that, about the keys. Or that's what the question was about in the forum where I learnt that solution. You lot are way more advanced than me, though, I can tell you that. Like, you might see a few tricks I do that you hadn't like maybe thought of, but that'd be the best I could offer. Most of it I'm a noob, but I'm a happy noob. You know, it's part of the fun. Is that the lightest orange? Yeah. Yeah, that sounds the solution. I did think that when I got the message back from someone who said just bolt that in, and I thought when I tried to do it, I thought, oh, I'll probably end up just writing it myself. But it's a non-essential thing for me. You know, I'm thinking, is that really essential? I can just make 2 or 3 key profiles, set of variables to say which one they've chosen. I guess their idea behind their advice there was just like, well, this is already written and it has a screen and everything. But yeah, I prefer to know what I'm doing. If you know, if I use something, hopefully I know how it works. Drawing bloody bullets is hard, isn't it? That looks okay. I'm just purposely using colours because they're available, you know. Obviously, redefine is a million miles better than like profiles, but you know, I am still a beginner, so even getting the whole game working is massive, you know, amazing for me. That'll finally do for the bullet. Kempston with 1 or 2 buttons. Yeah, surely they have a keyboard, at least some sort of keyboard option. Because at the end of the day, it's not a game. You know, the market for these games isn't the console market, really, is it? You know, yeah. It's a bit too dark down there. Being a perfectionist over the bullet, like one of the worst bullets in gaming history. Mm. That's what it is. It doesn't copy out of the. It says it copied it, but that's what was confusing me, I think. Yeah, there we go. Whoops. Game over loading screen. Which one was that? Was that the one that was flying about where it was broken the other day? Let's go back to that one. Right, first thing I've got to make sure I change is that. Oh, the game over. Let's have a look at that. Is that a ZX Spectrum game? I'm almost certainly going to start ripping sprites out of Super Nintendo and stuff like that, to be honest. Mega Drive. Because people will recognise that, and it will help me just get that little bit of extra attention with the games, I believe. I'm not going to just full on rip Sonic the Hedgehog out of a game, but, you know, little things. Yeah, for sure. C64 is a great one. Amiga, why not? Because we should be able to keep up with the graphics on that, shouldn't we? To some extent. I posted that cover art. I spotted that the other day and posted it because someone asked me, "What's the best games art with a machine, with a robot?" That's a weird coincidence because I thought it looked like a pretty cool cover as well. It's epic. Shows how my brain works. So I didn't even bloody find the I didn't link it when you just said the game over. Right, so that's the sprite in there. I'm tempted just to copy. Do you know what? I'm trying to organise things for the future a little. I might end up making, if I start making that in the enemy class, you know, then I might do it everywhere. So I can just start from one for then. Yeah, little changes, Jamie. How you doing, man? Yeah, I'm not sure which one I prefer. I did like the retro one before because I could read it better. But maybe this one looks a bit more slick. I might just reduce the text there. Couldn't see a lot. So what else do I need? Not a great deal actually. The speed. I need something like that. They're really simple on these actually. It's actually more simple because of the sprite hardware. I mean, it has all them attributes, like the player I've sorted out. I haven't done the enemy yet. And most of that won't be needed for a bullet, I don't think. Palette can be the same, not mirrored. Don't need the X, most significant. So that can just be 0 every time. Doing great, that's good to hear. Yeah, I'm still at it, Jamie. I'm going to be here in a year's time, still at it, mate. Guaranteed. Emook, I'm not concerned with that just yet, but for example, I'll just set it to false again if that happens. Before that happens, I should say. So it's a very limited style of programming what I'm doing right now. It's not using the hardware properly. If you'll notice, I'll show you actually if it will run right now. And I'm happy with this limitation right now. I was just saying to SpeckyNut earlier, I can move all the way to the left. That's fine. I get that, right? There's an overlap. Because I'm not using the most significant bit, I get stopped there on the right. So that's my entire game area right now. Yeah, the flames are there. I'm not even animating it right now. I'm just trying to keep it super simple so that if I run into a problem, there's not any unnecessary bloat in my way. But to answer Emook's question, when I'm firing a bullet to the top of the screen, when it reaches a value of 5 or less, I'm going to kill it. and likewise if it was going to go off the bottom of the screen somehow and become a higher number. Exactly. I mean, there is a way of doing it, and I had a happy accident with the movement on the most significant bit. I found I could actually do an asteroid style wrap of the screen by always forcing the most significant bit to be 0. So it worked quite well. If I don't put a limitation on there with 0, which I have done, I'm holding left now and it's staying there. But if I didn't have that, it would actually just loop to the left side of the screen. The right side, sorry. Yeah, but the problem again lies that it will wrap to there, you see. So you'd either have to cover it up if you just wanted to ignore the most significant bit. You'd have to put a UI like at the side. Of course I'm going to figure out how to use it, but one thing at a time, of course. I think it'd be more fun for this evening session if I can make some bullets and then do collision detection and stuff. And then after that I'll worry about the most significant bit on X. I'm not even going to worry about Y until later. This can actually be a constant for the bullets. It's never going to change. Yeah, bullets. More firepower. Kill the enemy. Kill some bugs. I'm going to just put attribute 2 here as a constant. Attribute 3 is visibility, extended bit set, pattern. Now the pattern's always going to be 4, possibly 5, can't remember. I think it's 5. And visibility, for now it's going to be always 1, because I just won't even, it won't even get updated if it's dead. And that's going to be 0. Don't need, that's for zooming. That's all I've used it for so far. And the Y significant is there as well. So actually again this is going to be a constant. So it's 5 plus 128 to make it visible. But I'm going to represent it as a binary. But it is going to be a constant. And this is not needed for the bullets. Simples. May as well grab this. It needs to be changed, but I mean even in the enemy. But a lot of it is the same. In fact, because on this one it's always going to be the same and these are all constants, it can be as simple as this, doesn't need anything more. So the slot is that, they have to be unique. This is the attribute slot now. Sub emote, it's Jet Set Willy. It's annoying that I chose I can't switch them round though, Twitch don't let me. But I've got others as well. But it's only for the super mega millionaires. But that one is Jet Set Willie's wife. I think it's actually the maid. I thought it was the wife when I made it. So that'll draw them. When they're alive, I need to make sure, because I probably could start not using this and just use invisibility instead maybe, but for now I'll just make sure that it's alive. That's already done. There, so it only happens if they are alive. Much the same. So if it finds no dead bullets, it just returns. Let's just put false as well. Jump if it's not. Okay, so here it's found a dead one. It's made it alive and it returns, so it doesn't do any more. Looking it up now. Nice, yeah. Yeah, because I was a specky kid from 1986. I got mine, but I didn't play Jet Set Willy or anything either. But I like it now. I'm actually one subscriber away from getting another emote slot, and I'm going to make sure it's a good one. Right, so I've established a way of spawning one bullet. This only draws the live bullets. Just need to move the bugger, don't I? Ah, does it return? Yeah. Yo, thanks Jamie. That wasn't like a backhanded beg, but I still appreciate the subscription, man. That's well nice of you. Right, that's something for me to do later today then. I'm going to be making a good emote. If you've got any ideas, give me a shout. Right now I'm thinking Caveman Debugging is the theme, because that basically sums up my channel. I'm going to be like a caveman hitting a computer with a bloody mallet or something, with one of them clubs. Smashing the keyboard. Yeah, thanks very much, Ryden. Right, where was I? Oh yeah, much the same again. Just updating the bullets this time. So I love this because I'm back in my old turf here, where I'm just coding the way I already know how. And I'm hoping it'll work. But all I want to do, if a bullet is alive, I want it to move up the screen, and that's it. They haven't even got a position yet. Of course they have. So when I spawn them, that's another thing I need to do, is make sure it spawns in the right position. So maybe I'll comment the code for people in the future who might download this. Just trying to work it out, where would I want to put. Well, we know the player's position anyway. It's cached in the player, so I don't think I can just load it directly into that register like that, or into that data like that. So let's keep it simple and just put it the exact same position as the player for now. Okay. So yeah, I just want it to move upwards when it's alive. So similarly here, if it's dead, I'm not quite sure why I chose to use false. Now it's always like a double negative, but if that is true, B update next. We do not actually need that return at the bottom. It will eventually reach that and return. Let's have a routine for moving the bullet. It already points at IX. IX already points at the specific bullet. IX plus 2 is its Y position. Sub 1 is going to be a bit slow, isn't it? I need a speed variable, or in fact, it's a constant. They're always going to go the same speed. I'm keeping it very simple here. That will do it, but what we were discussing earlier is if it goes off the screen, Now there's a speed of 10. Its origin is at the top anyway, so the maximum it could be is like 9, and then it would go 10 and it would end up as -1. So we'd want to be super safe. Well, let's just put CPU 10 compared to 10. So if it's less than 10, return. If not, put the value into it and hence move it. I've added bullet.asm. Excuse me. So it checks if bullets are alive or dead. So we can just call it every frame. Maybe this isn't the tidiest way of doing it. When we spawn one, that will be done in the player, in his own update loop. Oh, I don't seem to have a space. Sure I do. Yeah. Haha. Thanks, Jamie. I just read the message. I was in full rhythm there. I didn't read the messages. I just put torpedoes. Fire photon torpedoes. There we go. Probably not the best name ever. Let's be even more fancy and put load key pressed space held, and if that is true, return. So you only fire one at a time. We've added a heck of a lot there. I'll be surprised if this works first time. Working on this language, not long, mate, not long. Honestly, I started assembly language about 3 months ago, and I knew nothing about it, but I did know how to. I knew how data was, I've used C++ and C and that for quite a long time, and C sharp. I'm not C, C++ and C sharp for a long time. So I knew roughly like the idea of storing data and moving through loops and stuff like that, but I didn't know what the accumulator was, or HL and A and Z, return Z and all that. I was like, what the hell is all this? But once I learned those short things, I mean, to be honest, the first things I learned that got me to be able to do it was the IX register, being able to iterate, IX +1. Obviously, I had to learn what A was, and then the compare routine. And then I learned all the different flags that the compare changed. And that was actually all I needed to make some simple games. After that, it's all just been adding little bits here and there as I go. But what you want to take from that is, if you're a complete beginner, is I've started IX at bullets. I go through and do whatever I want to one bullet. And then I'd use DE to add the value of however many bytes are in a bullet array of just one bullet. And that's why I add it to IX, jump back to the start, hence we are now on the next bullet. But yeah, the compare is what got me really going, because you can obviously say, like, if something is bigger than another thing, go that way, or if something is smaller, or you can do, is something alive, or lots of other things. I'll be surprised if it all works straight away. However, I can't see that it won't. Slot. Let's try it. Error. There we go. You can't see it on the screen, but I'll just read it here. Label not found, PY. Oh. Of course. I changed that into a constant. Because we're never going to move the Y. The player's going to stay the same. And there we go, no error. I pressed space and I didn't see a bullet though. And the caveman debugging begins. The first thing I'd do as a caveman here is something stupid like change the border when the bullet spawns. I think I'll try a sound, although I haven't got the sound routines in here. I'll try and change the border. I'll just make it go white. Yeah, I can add a breakpoint, but they don't work on my setup. Do I have to write something like assert or something? I have to write something here. I've got C-spec, but it doesn't work for me. I've tried. Let's try it there. Is that how I do it? Oh, unverified breakpoint. Please restart debugging session. DD. It changed the border, but only on the second key press, weirdly enough. Define word. Where? Right here. Just like that. Really? See, that to me, I can't imagine. I don't. That's my brain's just like, what? I didn't know you could do that. I'll try it. It's certainly got through the compile process. Oh, thanks, man. I could make a macro for that then, maybe. Oh, I think I saw the bullet fly out there. It's just going too fast. Now you can step. F7. Nice. Legend. Thank you. Let me sort my screen out because no one can read that. I'm gonna have to start making. I'll probably have to make some changes here where I can switch to full screen C-Spec or something. I was about to ask you something then, but I've forgotten. Okay, thank you. And I can go down and press F9 and see. Okay. Oh look, it's got my actual code written there as well, hasn't it? That's brilliant. I mean, I think at the moment I need to just look at my code instead because I don't know where to put the breakpoint yet. Cheers, Jamie. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've done C stuff for years, but I'm still not very good at it. You know, I got quite good at it at one point. I think I just need to. There's probably something in my code. I kind of knew it already reached that point. Whoops. Yeah, no, it will be invaluable. Actually, while I've got, maybe I should put this into tools. Something like, how do you do? Maybe I should learn this for the very first time. Macro. I wonder if I could come up with some convention for myself. Macro break. Yeah. Breakpoint maybe. Why not? No point being stingy. I like it. Would that do it, or does it have to be spaced out? I'll have to look it up on SJASM. That's what I should do rather than rely on asking you every time. Is that the right syntax though, with macro just written there like that? I seem to remember seeing it in pink. Yeah, I will, mate, I will. Ah, just tabbed in. There you go. Sweet. My first macro. Thank you, my dude. basically that, I write that and it copies and pastes that into my code. Like that. Brilliant. I mean, I must admit, I'm part of me is against macros because so many times when I've been trying to read someone else's code and I couldn't do it because of macros. But that's my problem, not theirs. Do you know what I mean? But because of that, I've avoided it. But that's a brilliant example of it because people will start seeing breakpoint and they'll be like, "Oh, how's he doing that?" And then there's that really simple little macro. Sorry. Thanks, Emook. That's invaluable. That. Yes, it did work. For some reason, only on the second press of space am I getting fire with a bullet. Unfortunately, right now the screen is so small on my bit, so I'm going to have to fiddle around to use breakpoints. I can't actually read that very easily at all. But I promise before this evening's session, I will relay out my code window, or at the very least, I'll make it so I can go full screen on C-Spec when I need to. That is clean. That's like, yeah, it's just so helpful. Thanks, mate. Because now that's just a brilliant example of a macro and why you would use it as well. Yeah, why not, Mook? If you're in the mood, I'm always in the mood, mate. Run.bat, wasn't it? Okay. I might as well just do it from that. Is that alright to do it like that? Yeah. Okay. How do you do dot? I can't do dots. Oh dear. I've tried control and alt dot. Thank you, mate. Oh, I didn't put basic keys back on. That's it. Thanks, man. I learn every second you're around. I'm learning new stuff. Lovely. Cool. It's a nice feeling actually here. You've got like a specky that actually works here. Funny because it sounds like autoexec.bat from back in the old days of PC. And I never used to have a clue what that was, but I used to use them for certain things on DOS. I hope I was meant to press enter there because I did. of course. Now quit all. Brilliant. Should I try back into this approach? Okay. So without next ROM and with main next. Leave. Oh, that's black. Oh, I see. Haha, I get you now. Okay. Is it? Do I have to call it auto exec? Ah, it done both in the chain. I thought that might. It's still a black screen as well. Does auto exec get called every time automatically when the thing starts? Rem out this last line. Oh, apologise. So I need to change this a little bit. Do you want next ROM in there? Okay, but it doesn't call main.next anywhere. Should I put that in there? Just like that. This is how I've always had it, innit? Oh, wait there. No, it hasn't done anything. Shouldn't I change the auto exec pass? Oh, next load main.next, yeah. Oh, look, it's there. Sorry, I forgot I had it in this window mode. Hello, Dark Trance. Did it run? Yeah, I tried it. It said no such command. Stupid, isn't it? You know, no problem. Next load, okay. Ah, I see. No worries. Should I delete this? Hang on, just... What was the rest of it? Line 0. Oh, you need quotes. Oh, thank God I can just go back and do that. Okay, we're good. I'm back in this mode. Gonna delete that maybe. Well, hey, you legend. Thank you, man. I realised as well I probably could just locate that file and I could have written it in Notepad, I guess. Let's see what that looks like. I forgot where I saved it to. Oh, next ZXOS. Oh no, it's not on my system. Okay. Also, it's stored on the C of the next, is it? It's not stored in my real C drive. Well done, you taught me how to do that because that's very clear now how I can do that. And obviously it's recorded, other people can watch this and find out as well. I get it, I get it. Very helpful, man. Very, very helpful. Two amazingly helpful features there that I'm going to be using a lot of. I mean, I'm not going to overuse macros, but if I see an opportunity like that where it's just super clear to do so, then I'm going to do it. Yeah. I forgot. I was about. Oh yeah. So I was trying to figure out why I couldn't see the bullets. What's the pattern? Perhaps I've chose the wrong pattern. Oh damn! The breakpoint. Get rid of the breakpoint a sec. No, still nothing. We know it reaches there because the breakpoint just fired. Let's try not moving it a sec. No, definitely not. I think while I'm doing that, I will slow it down to 2 for now. I'd say it seems alright, the code. I'm guessing, this is just a guess. I want more of these, like I want to be able to put in more slots. Shouldn't matter, but is it that I've only created that many slots? Because when I init sprites, it makes the slots depending on sprite count. Fills them up with the image data. I'm going to try just having one enemy. Thanks for popping in, Jamie. It's nice to have you around. Thanks very much for the subscription. Yeah, I'm going to work on that emote. It's a good one. Thank you very much. Hopefully they let me do it straight away. It said they could. It said I could when I got to 15. I'll tell you what, I'm taking a break pretty soon as well, but I did want to try and make this this bullet visible. Just want to check if that's the solution or not. If it is, then I should be able to see it now, and it's bloody weird if it is, but I don't think it'll work. Nah. Alright. I've got one thing already. Bullet. Oh no, it does. I was going to say, is it trying to respawn the same bullet over and over again? Can't imagine that doing it either. Nah. I'll have to resize the screen to use the breakpoints because I can't really read any of the registers or anything. I find it weird though, we've established that it gets to here and spawns it. Position. Weird. Visibility is on 1 there. Oh wait. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I've got a GitHub, Ryden. I've only done 48k games. I'll get you a link in a sec. Done a couple of complete games. Some of them are nearly complete, and then there's 1 or 2 that are fully complete. Just getting the link. But if you wanted to just download to play them, they are around. Spikey Goes Skiing. If you Google that, you'll find just a working tape file. That's my overall GitHub link. So there's 5 projects on there right now. Although I'm just looking. Why is it not? What's happened to my I seem to have somehow lost the GitHub with the full games on it. Oh, because it's only showing popular repository. I find that crazy because the one I was on about that I can't find had like 6 stars. There it is. Yeah, Jamie, this one here, this link is one of those, but it actually has like 5 games inside. So that was my visibility. Checked it. It's visible. Attribute 2. Palette and mirror. No worries, Jamie. Glad to help. Have a good one, man. No. It's a strange one. The enemies we know works. Funny enough, I'm going to keep all the enemies the same, just like I am with the bullet. So I'm going to do constants and then see if they suddenly vanish if I do it in the exact same way. Can't remember what it was. That one, I think. Could be this attribute 4 thing, even though I know we don't need it. Cheers, Jamie. I love the use of the emotes, man. Awesome. Oh, look, they vanished. There we go then. They've still vanished, so it was nothing to do. It's the use of the constant then. Ah, look, dB. Should be equal. But hey. Oh. Can I see if I can remove the breakpoint? No, obviously I can't because it's in the code, isn't it? Come on, let's see them bullets. Hey! Of course, I changed the pattern because I wasn't sure, was I? So I nudged it down one. These multicolour graphics, I've got to draw some good ones. I can't wait. Cheers, Trancer. I need to change it again because I removed it, so we can only fire one bullet at a time. Well, while holding, I mean, we have to release the key. Oh, it's a weird one though. It's when we. Oh, it's also not killing them. So, but it seems to be only firing when I release the key. But even before that was there. Well, no, now it fires them all at the exact same time, actually. Which was that's why I wanted to add this. It seems there should be no way that should, on the very first frame, should be true. It won't make a difference, but I'm going to put it at the top. I'm going to put it at the top. Now that's why. The jump. I've got it now. Need to not jump anymore. Or particularly not when we're doing firing anyway. Epic sax. And there we go. Start is it's beginning. Guys, while I've got two seasoned pros here, you see I've got a black background. Do I have to use tile map to make a background? I tried to do one with a specky style background for now and it didn't work. But I'm not going to attempt that yet, but I'll just see if you... I did need that breakthrough, man. I needed it. I knew it was coming, you know, I did know it was coming. Especially last night when I was on my own coding, I made quite a bit of progress in a short space of time. But yeah, that background is what's annoying me now. I don't know how to change it yet, because surely you don't have to use your part of your 64 sprites to make all the background as well. I know to do the transparent I want to use magenta by default. I get that already. You can use layer 2, yeah? That's going to be one of my next big challenges, I think, is like tiling a background with... So layer 2 is the sprites, isn't it? The 64 8-bit sprites. Tile maps are more complicated. Yeah, but it's going to really limit. Oh, okay. I thought that was layer 2. Ah. Oh, amazing. In that case, I'm very happy just to use the basic, simple layer 2 then. That's what I've got to look it up. I only wanted to do that as a trial dark trance, because it won't look very good, will it? Because you can only have like so many colours. I may as well take advantage of the colours. Please do, Emook. I'll pick what I can out of it and try and get it working. Yeah, still at it. I've done it. I've got it though. Look, spec'd up. But at the moment, it doesn't kill the bullet. That'll be done here. Border wrapping, yeah. Just reading that. Okay, that sounds complicated, doesn't it? Yeah. Maybe it's worth. It is sometimes worth not knowing all of the details until you have to. Because they might just come as second nature by the time you get to the stage of needing them. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, no worries, no worries. I mean, my basic explanation to it is you've got 8 bits easily to play with, and once you've hit the limitation, you've just got to figure out a way of using that 9th bit. And you know, I'm not even going to worry about wrapping screens either, because that'll come much later. Even at the moment, I just want to limit them to I want to give them that last little bit on the right, you know, between 255 and 280 or whatever it is. But that's going to be later, much later. Yeah, you just need the 9th bit, but the problem is it happens to situate in the like visibility byte or something, doesn't it? So when you're changing your visibility, you just got to make sure you don't change that as well. Just OR it, simples. Sounds good actually. This sounds very good. I forgot what I was actually doing. Oh, just killing the bullet so that. I'd love to be able to do the conditional load there. Load C. And just put it. Then I wouldn't need any of this. As it stands, I'm going to have to jump to that so that I can then return out without any hassle. Oh, an error. Oh. I didn't say where I wanted to jump to. Oh, see you later, Mook. Yeah, I'll get there in the end where I'm doing that stuff, but lots more to do in between. I love to do collision detection and stuff. It makes the game fun to play. Hey, there we go. It's starting to work now. When I come back this evening, I'm going to have drawn quite a few sprites that are half decent, and I'm going to try and make the beginnings of an actual shooter game. I mean, in my head it won't take that long, but there's bound to be something that snags me for the whole time. But yeah, I can't think of that much to do for this session now. I don't sound it, but I'm extremely happy with the progress today. We've made so many cool steps forward. We've learned how to use macros. There was another thing that was brand new to me. Oh, the launch process. I've improved that thanks to the help of eMook again. We've changed run.bat ever so slightly. Watch the video back if you didn't see it. We made autoexec.bas inside the Spectrum emulator. That now just runs main.next. So yeah, simple as that. Of course, we've got the drawing working. And that's it really now. I think we're almost back into familiar turf for a long time now. Other than that significant bit thing, which isn't going to be as scary as it sounds, I don't think. Colour of a flashing box. Oh yeah, it's magenta you need. I just chose black because I couldn't be bothered at the time. I was just happy to see a sprite on the screen. But long story short, if I change, in fact, let's do that. Watch this. I'll change all zeros to be all E3. By default, E3 is transparent. I just literally was being lazy. There you go. Can't wait. Can't wait for this evening. I'm telling you, I'm going to add so much to this game tonight. The only thing that will stop me is if one stupid thing holds me up for hours and then I get too tired. Cheers, Specky Nut. I really appreciate your support, man. On YouTube as well, I seem to have had a massive influx since you've been writing in. Enemy movement will certainly be there. The hardest one will be the enemy spawning, because you have to come up with a logical way of them to spawn in like Space Invaders style and move as a unit. It's not that hard, really. It's not that hard. But there's always some banana skins around and new hardware. Table array, yeah. I mean, you don't even need that, to be honest. It can be controlled by like a few variables like speed and direction variables, and then just a small algorithm can do it for me. But a movement table would certainly be a way of doing it. That's how we did it on the game I made recently, Spiky in Space. We made the enemies come in like a waveform, and we pre-define that wave. But it's quite a data intensive way of doing it, and it's also slightly a little bit boring making the waves. I kind of like the mathematical approach instead, if I can manage it, you know. Especially now, there's no excuse because we've got multiply. We can multiply A by B. You know, there's an actual instruction like mul AB or something along those. I've never used it, but that's roughly how it works. So yeah, loads of exciting stuff to come this evening. But other than that, I think we're finished here. Just a quick summary again: macros, they're there. I'm going to start using them sparingly, but I am going to use them for things like loading registers sometimes and stuff. Did you like that? Yeah, yeah, I did as well. Awesome, wasn't it? I can't remember what I've stopped spiking space because I had one little problem, but I actually have figured out the problem, but I just didn't bother going back to fix it because I've moved on to this now. Yeah, I'm really glad you enjoy it, man. It's great to have a new person on board. Hopefully, you know, many more months ahead of some great game producing. It won't always be ZX Next. I'm planning on doing Sega Master System as well and C64, but the Next seems like the best logical option, to be honest. Long may it continue. I can't wait. Can't wait to get a game produced for this thing, a good one. It has got a huge following. It's exciting, and I'm glad. Yeah, it feels impressive sometimes when you get it done. I'm sure you're going to be able to manage it, especially if you pop in the channel more. We're always beginner level here, so you know it's normally understandable. Oh yeah, definitely keen to learn. Defo, mate. It's great having you around. If you get time this evening, jump in. Of course you don't need to, and it's always going to be there on YouTube. I upload every video, even if they're nonsense, 90% of them, but you know, sometimes it's a 3-hour video with 10 minutes worth of good stuff, but it's the way it is, I'm afraid. Once I've got my head around this, which I nearly have, I'm going to make a couple of concise videos as well. I may pre-record them. It's ironic though. I start at 11 roughly in the night, I'm afraid, UK time, because I work normally until then, but I've got a day off today. But yeah, my crappy computer, when I try and pre-record a video in 1080p, it can't handle it. But if I stream, because it's not putting it on the hard drive, it handles it. Yeah, I'm glad you like it. It's better banter at night as well, of course. There's quite a few regulars jump in, and they're all specky mad, so it's going to be good fun. Hopefully I'll catch you then, but I understand it might be a bit late for you, because it normally goes on from about 11 till about 2ish, or 1 or 2. But even if you just jump in for 10 minutes, you know. Yeah, I'll leave it here for that one. I'll come back with some new sprites, possibly some more added to the game already. And you watch most late night, yeah? That's good. Hopefully we'll fit in well here with my channel, because it's normally that sort of time. No, very rarely first thing, to be fair. I think the earliest stream I ever done was 11 AM. That was when I was really getting into, you know, just cracked a few eggs on it and was really adding stuff to game nice and fast. Yeah, great times ahead, honestly. We're going to make some good next games. They're going to be impressive by the end of it. I've got experience making particle systems in Unity before, so I know a little bit about how they work. Might even be able to do something like that. And I used to work on 2D games back in the Java days, so I have some experience. I certainly will do that. I tried to sign up for Facebook and it just kept demanding me to give them the real name, and I thought, I don't want to display my real name, I want to display my channel name, so that was what stopped me. But I'll figure it out. I just gave up pretty quick. But yeah, I must shoot off because then I'll have a nice rest, come back. I might be a bit early because on my days off I sometimes start at about 10, but that would be the absolute earliest. I spelt it. Yes, Becky. Yeah, cheers for having you around again. It's great news. And hope to catch you later. If not, see you on YouTube. Everyone else, if you're watching on YouTube for the first time, please remember to click subscribe. I've got a long way to go on YouTube before I can get anywhere. Much love to everyone. Stay happy, and I'll see you this evening.